Welcome, everybody. Can you hear me? Well, you can hear me without this. We're so close and intimate here, but it's going to be better for the sound. Anyway, I want to welcome you all to tonight's presentation by Rabbi Hillel and Chaya. This is sponsored by YIBONEH, and of course, I think you're all familiar with what we're trying to do here, and that is chesed in the community and promote people to get involved in more chesed projects. One of the biggest chesed that we think we could do at the moment is to help singles experience the bliss, the marital bliss that we all share. I met the listers. My wife and I did a couples narrative, and there were a lot of couples that I hadn't seen in some 20-some years, and they were all, Baruch Hashem, very happy, and they wanted more of it. And so they signed up, registered, and week after week we got to see them, and we gained a lot, and we felt this is something we wanted to share with the community as well. So without any further ado, I'd rather have the Lesters introduce themselves and their background before they start.
Okay, thank you. You are the Lester. Okay, I am the Lester. I'm going to stand up. Is this working? Is this on? Okay, great. So, hi, I'm Chaya. This is Rabbi Hillel. Maybe you want to introduce yourself. I'll just say a word about what we do, what we're passionate about. Well, first of all, no, my first word that I want to say is thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for the introduction. Thank you for having us. Thank you for creating this forum. Thank you for the work you do. YIBONEH.
Thank you.
Hamikdash.
Amen.
So, yeah, serious gratitude, and we're excited to be doing this and sharing this, because yeah, this is wisdom that we've just been working on, between ourselves for about a decade now and beyond, and we're excited to share it. A lot of what we do at the Shalev Center, my husband and I run this wonderful little place called the Shalev Center, and we bring together the best of Jewish wisdom with the best of psychology and psychological wisdom that is out there, and we kind of meld and synthesize the two. And we're really passionate about making very tool-based. Okay, there's these great mystical ideas or Jewish ideas, but we are really interested in being okay, well, how does that help me deal with my depression or my mother-in-law or my real life deepest, most intimate inner issues. And so we are really excited about creating tools and frameworks for change and growth and actualizing whatever these teachings up here are about, really actualizing them in relationships and in ourselves. So we do a lot of work with couples. We do a couples workshop, and we do group work with men's groups and women's groups, also individual work. But and working with singles is a real exciting frontier for us. So would you like to say anything? So right, we're both psychotherapists and Jewish educators, and would you like to say anything else about what we do?
You got it.
Okay, great. So tonight we are going to, I wanted to bring a really big hammer with me. But Helen was like, no, that's ridiculous. You can't bring a big hammer into the synagogue. But I really wanted to bring a hammer because we're going to be smashing some myths. Love these days is this mythological creature. It's like this kind of wild beast that is actually unattainable in a lot of ways. The vision and the models that we have of love from mass media, and that we've kind of imbibed, I think many of us, but it's a mythological creature. It's full of myths. So we're going to be smashing some of the myths, but we're also going to use a hammer to build a different structure and a Jewish-based structure for really what love, what marriage is about, what we should be striving for, yearning for, leaning towards, and working towards, and how to orient ourselves to getting to the ideal of healthy marriage. Because it's not really worth it, y'all, if you just get married to get married. It's really how can I create the healthiest possible path of marriage once I'm in it? So we're really, interested in, okay, how do we make sure that there's going to be health on the other side, and the ultimate wholeness and health within us as we're moving towards relationship as well. So we're going to be smashing some myths. So I think that we're going to be starting with the first one.
You guys ready? So we're going to start with myth number 1 about love and relationships. We're going to go through a few of these. By the way, so we're going to leave a lot of time at the end for questions. You can throw out snide comments whenever you like. We're going to start. Myth number 1. You guys ready? All you need is love. You know how the song goes? So I have a friend of mine, he's a satirical comedian, who once told me that the people who wrote All You Need Is Love happen to be millionaires. So here's the thing. You take any serious endeavor in life. You want to be a teacher. You want to learn to play an instrument. You want to learn a trade. Any serious endeavor in life. And you have to do what? You have to invest time. You have to learn. You have to gain tools. You have to find mentors. You have to practice. You have to get it wrong. You have to practice again. Right? Any endeavor. But we have this very strange belief. Follow me? That you take two people with totally different backgrounds, personalities, and souls, and you throw them together in this thing called marriage, and it'll all work out. As long as you start with this good feeling at the beginning, this thing that we think we call love. You're like, yeah, this is good, I like him, we feel good together, let's do it, and we don't invest anything else in.
I guess that's why the Share team was so successful. They married their sisters and didn't have that different background.
So this is right, this is nuts. Where else do we apply this in life and expect success? You know, imagine, so I love jazz music. I love jazz music, jazz guitar playing. I don't play a guitar. I don't know how to play a guitar, but I love jazz music. And so I went out yesterday and bought myself a jazz guitar. And I have a concert tomorrow night. No, not on Shabbos. Motzi Shabbos. I have a concert. How do you think the concert's going to go?
Not so good.
Not so good. I mean, it might sound like jazz to some people, but hey. But you hear it, just because I love it, just because I'm so connected to it, just because I have a vision of what I might be like when I can play, I need to practice, I need teachings, I need tools, I need scales, I need fundamentals. So relationships are no different. There is, as you may or may not know, there's a lot of stigma around getting support and help individually or for couples, for us looking to get into couples. And it's pretty ridiculous that for some reason we have this stigma that somehow inhibits us from actually getting the support and the information that we need to be successful in these relationships. I have a close friend of mine, just a couple days ago, I was telling him about what we were doing, and he said, when he asked his rabbi to be a Masad or Kedushin for his wedding, to perform his wedding, the rabbi said, I've got one condition, that you get couples counseling before you get married. That's it. And they did. And he told me it was the best advice he's gotten. The best advice. So, okay. Did you want to say anything about that?
Right, so, I mean, basically the myth is all you need is love, and the truth is, actually all you need is education, you know, investment of time and effort and love. But like to have just the love without this idea of, okay, I'm going to sweat a little bit for it. I'm going to invest and get myself educated about what is love and how does it work and how do relationships work best. So that's what we're going to be doing a little bit tonight. You know, so you've come, so you've already like taken this big step to be here. That step of like doing that work at the outset. Should be blessed. We're going to have like a little bit of an exercise now, so you have pieces of paper. This is the time for this.
Before we do myth number 2, I guarantee you guys will have lots of questions and maybe a few challenges on some of the approaches we're going to bring. Hold on to them and see if what we present answers some of those questions.
You're not going to like what we have to say.
And there's going to be, like I said, some space at the end. So here's what I want to do is before we do myth number 2, I want to do a little bit of an exercise.
Does everybody have paper?
A lot of squeaking going on.
Like,
The squeaky bacon, I said. Okay. whether you want to do this with your eyes open, eyes closed, what I want to do is invite you into a place. So we often operate up here. And I'm going to invite you to a place that asks you to go a little bit deeper inside. And really think about what your visions and hopes are for a partnership. Not exactly what the person looks like, not the details. What does it feel like to be in partnership? What I'm going to ask you to start uncovering and playing around with is what are some of the hidden expectations, the hidden hopes and desires that we have. There's a format I'm going to ask you to write this out in, specific format in a second. So I want you to think about for a moment. You really imagine that ideal relationship for yourself. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you to frame this in the following way. He or she should blank. Or he or she should blank me. So some examples might be, he should love me. She should trust me. Right? These are just some examples. And go through really in your mind and ask yourself, is that really the deepest one? Find 4, 5, 6 that you feel like are representative. Take a few minutes. We're going to take a few minutes to do this. You can also frame it he or she will. You know. Again, if you're writing, he'll take out the garbage, look for something deeper. Okay, another minute. You'll see how we're going to be doing this exercise, and you can, if you want to mine it a little bit deeper on your own, you're welcome to spend a little bit more focused time and redo this at a later time also. You got 4, 5, 6. So now I'd like to give you minute number 2. You guys ready? So I want you to listen to this carefully. We're going to spend a lot of time explaining what we mean by this. Myth number 2. This is a myth. My partner should love me. My partner should support me. My partner should take care of me. My partner should, keep filling in the blank, trust me. My partner should provide me safety. My partner should honor me. These are myths, and they destroy relationships. They destroy the possibility for receiving the very things you want. We're going to describe this a little bit.
So Mavata, we just told you that your whole list that you just wrote, that we set you up to write, is all mythological. Forgive us. But I think that's one of the things that we're really trying to get at here. And we're going to unpack it.
With their pointers.
And we're going to unpack it based on a gorgeous Kabbalistic teaching that's in our very own tradition. And it's from the Arizal, and I'm going to share with you this teaching. And at the back of your head, keeping in mind your list of shoulds, okay? So there's this beautiful teaching, and maybe a lot of you have already heard about it. It's from the Arizal, great Kabbalistic teacher, talking about the 2 creation myths about man, the creation stories about how humans were created. Of course, we have in the first story, chapter 1 of Genesis, we have the story of how God created man, Adam, as man and woman, male and female, he created them. Wild, right? It's wild teaching that the first vision of what human is a male and female composite. And then there's this funny discrepancy in the text, where all of a sudden, chapter 2, what do we see, is a description of how there's this Adam who feels lonely. And so God says, okay, yeah, let's take this part of you out of your very own self and create another person, and this is going to be your woman. And so, wait a second, didn't we just hear a chapter ago that there was one entity that was male and female, and all of a sudden it's two entities? What's up with that? So the Arizal rushes in to answer this discrepancy, and what he brings is this gorgeous paradigm for understanding all of creation and all of history and the evolution of humankind. And he basically says that Adam, man and woman, were joined as one entity at the beginning, fused together back to back. And some say that's why you see like the ridges on the spine, like puzzle piece back together. And they were facing opposite directions in a back-to-back state of being. And the truth is, not ideal. So what God did was this thing called the Nisira. The Nisira is basically means a surgery. It's a surgical uncoupling of this entity, and tore them apart, just ripped them apart, and turned them around to face each other. And the goal being face to face, man and woman. Now, in that model is, he says, all of history, where what all of history is about is male and female turning from a place of being back to back to turning towards each other, raising towards each other to the same level, and then being in a face-to-face relationship. And this is the goal. The Messianic era, my friends, is a time when all people will be in face-to-face. Relationships will be face-to-face. It will be a place of equality between male and female. And also in the evolution of each of our individual lives, we are moving towards that face-to-face as well. And in our relationships, we're moving towards that face-to-face as well. And relationships often start out with a back-to-back way of being. So let me tell you about what the back-to-back way of being here is. Okay? Back-to-back.
The two dynamics in relationships.
There's two dynamics within relationships. There's back-to-back consciousness, and there's face-to-face consciousness. So the back-to-back consciousness is basically any place.
Okay.
This does not work whatsoever. Okay. Thank you. Yes, look at that. Okay. So we have the back-to-back consciousness, which is all of the places where I am fused with my partner. And we often think that that's a great thing. We want to do everything together. We want to be together all the time. We're totally joined. We're enmeshed. Not the ideal, my friends. Not the ideal. Back-to-back is a place where this person is totally connected to me, but we have totally opposite facing wills. I want to go this way. He wants to go that way. But at least he's got my back. At least he's always going to support me. Right? There's this sense of my partner is here in order to always have my back. My partner is here in order that I should never have to be alone, because that would be a horrible thing. My partner is here to always help me in the direction I want to go. All of this is back-to-back thinking. The expectation that my partner is here entirely to support me. And each of us is expecting that of our partners, mind you. Okay? And
To give me love.
all the shoulds. Oh, but he should really be supporting me, giving me the compliments, giving me the love and care and attention and all of that. That is total back-to-back consciousness. Now, back-to-back consciousness also is full of projections from my own childhood, projections from my own, it's a place of like fear. I'm drawn to this person out of fear of being alone. I'm drawn to this person out of fear that I'm not enough. I'm drawn to this person out of fear that I can't make enough money, or I need help, or that I really want somebody to support me. All the places that I'm connected to this person is out of like a sense of fear, as opposed to what we're going to talk about in a second with the face-to-face. So it's drawn out of a sense of projection, out of a sense of unconsciousness. It's like I can't even see them. There's the world as I see it does not contain them whatsoever. They only exist to support me in my endeavors. Okay? So it's a place of great expectations on the other person and demands that the other person fulfill my direction.
I'm confused. So why is it back to back?
So Adam and Chava, when they were fused as one entity, the Arizal explains that they were back to back with each other. Back.
So when you want something from someone else, it's back to back because
It's the sense of this person is a part of me. First of all, this person is a part of me. They don't have really their own
An extension
existence.
of myself.
It's an extension of myself.
why can't it be that they want to give?
Okay, so you're right. These are the questions that all of you should be having right now. Okay? Yes, it's supposed to feel uncomfortable, what we're saying. Okay, because there is this sense. So wait, isn't that what marriage is about? They should be wanting to give.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So then it should be back to back.
But it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be. Don't worry. It's going to come around. We're going to get our needs met. But not through a process of demanding it, expecting it, fusing in order to get it. Okay? So that is what we're trying to dismantle here, so that all of us can kind of move towards coupling with greater sense of consciousness.
We're going to lay this out in greater detail.
But thank you for asking that, because that's the question that you should be asking. All of you should be asking. Wait a second. Wait, isn't that the whole point of being married? Wait, isn't it the whole point is to support each other, love each other, and take care of each other? Yeah, okay. Wait. Back to back is unconscious drives, unconscious projections, unconscious fears, unconscious needs from the other person. Okay? Any other pieces of back to back that you want to add?
No, you got it.
Okay. I was going to imagine that I just wrote all those down there. I'm not going to. Anyway. That's the back-to-back. Then there's the Nasira, the divine surgery of cutting and separating. Okay? And then there's a turning towards each other. Now in our couples workshop, this is like a 6-week workshop where each week we do 2 weeks of being in back-to-back and what does that mean, and 2 weeks of turning and what does that mean, and Nasira, and then 2 weeks of coming together. But just to say it very quickly, and to get to what we want to get to, which is, okay, well, what is face-to-face then? What is our goal here? Face-to-face is a place where when I look at the world, my partner is right in the center of my worldview. I see my partner. But I see my partner as him. I don't see my partner as an extension of me or as my needs fulfilled, my Romeo, my savior. No, that's Hillel, that dude over there. With all of his gifts and charms and wonders and limitations, that's him. I see my partner for who they are, and I am who I am. I let them be who they are. I let me be who I am, and I'm joined together with this person out of okay, yes, what are the places that we do share a sense of vision and mission and goals and life purpose and values, and we're going to celebrate that and work with that together. But he's also allowed to have his own interests that maybe are different than mine. Don't support mine. It's a place of real independence. Our goal here is, if you can imagine that back-to-back is a place of codependence, where you're relying on the other person, they're totally relying on you. There's a lot of goods that come with that. It's very seductive, but very destructive. And we're moving from codependence to independence, which was really the Nasira. Whoops. And then what we want to get to is interdependence. Interdependence, which is where we're each our own individual selves, independent selves, but we're going to work together to meet our life's goals.
And we're sharing our unique sense of self with another. And that meeting point of sharing is the place where true intimacy, true vulnerability, true trust emanate from. It's the sharing of two people together.
Yep. So this is the Kabbalistic model of the ideal relationship. Moving from a place of back-to-back demands and coercions and expectations of what a partner should be, to a place of face-to-face, seeing the other, accepting the other, and standing on our own 2 feet, each of us. Okay, so that's our model that we're going to be working towards. Unfortunately, so much of what we get inundated with in the world is all back-to-back. If you think about any freaking Disney music, Disney movie, all of it is the prince coming and saving the princess, and all of it is of the back-to-back, variety. And
I like to be the prince. I want to be the prince. I don't mind if she's in distress. I don't get this.
Right. Yes. So it's very romantic. It's become the romantic vision.
I don't want a woman to save me. You know what I mean?
Right. So what we're moving towards.
What if she doesn't want to be saved?
Only if she wants to be saved. Most women want to be saved.
Or what happens 15 years down the line when your wife is always expecting you to come and be the prince who saves her at every juncture and at every turn, and she becomes a atrophied individual, and and you're overwhelmed by all of her needs.
And by the
So
way,
we're
when
thinking
she's
long-term,
dependent on you
y'all.
saving her, she's got less of herself to offer you. So she doesn't stand in herself fully because she's always dependent on you to fill that part of
People
her.
save each other.
So I'm gonna save space at the end because we have the whole thing to fill out based on this exact question. You still have the question, then ask it again at the end, okay? Promise you to give you space.
Thank you, Arizal, for laying it out.
So the challenges we're starting to point out here is that we are inundated with negative, toxic messages about love and relationship. We're going to demonstrate this a little bit. To the point where they're ubiquitous, to the point that we believe that that's what love is. So we did a little Google search on the top 100 love songs. And we went through the top 50 of them and opened up a few of them and started looking at the lyrics. Songs that most of us know at some point in our life. Some of the newer ones we don't know. And to see it in black and white, to see it laid out. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through a few of these songs. And I want you to pick out if you can hear and notice the dysfunction. If you can start to notice and hear the back-to-back. Okay? So we're going to go through a few of these. I was going to see, maybe I should tell you the words and you can tell me the artist. No, I'll just tell you the artist. Okay, Mariah Carey. You guys know this song? Okay, here's the words. I'm not going to try and sing it. I want a lover who knows me, who understands how I feel inside. Someone to comfort and hold me through the long, lonely nights. Till the dawn, why don't you take me away? Dream lover, come rescue me. Take me up, take me down, take me anywhere you want to, baby, now. I need you so desperately, won't you please come around? This is one of the lighter ones. Do you hear this? Desperate.
What do you notice? What do you notice?
Rescue. Save. Because without you, I'm... Nothing. What else? Without you, I'm lonely. Without you, I'm dark. There's also the language in here.
But I have a question. This can come out of a back-to-back relation, but also of a very, very deep face-to-face relation. You know, when you face like real deep truth understanding of the other person, you also feel like vulnerable and it's not, you need the other person, it's like, you're right.
Vulnerability and sharing vulnerability is very different than the other person being responsible for my emotional needs.
But this song could emanate also from the face-to-face, with the same word, meaning something.
Okay, that's not how I hear it. I need you so desperately, won't you please come around, rescue me. I need you to know how I feel inside.
I can't really make it on my own without you. Rescue me. I mean, we're moving towards a new paradigm of equality where we do not need to be rescued by somebody else because each of us are going to be in our own full strength. But so that's kind of what we're moving
God
towards.
forbid, my wife and I don't work out. Chas v'shalom. And we have to go our separate ways. We're going to be fine. We're going to be in a lot of pain. There's going to be damage. It's not going to be a pretty nice situation. But we are not going to be, I can't live without you.
Okay, let's put it this way. Assuming that you are in the face-to-face,
Mhm.
you can say each other, I need you.
You could say, you know what's stronger than I need you? I want you.
Or I want you. Or I need you.
Do you hear this?
You can say, I need you. I need
No,
you.
I'm making a distinction here that's crucial. The distinction is not I need you. It's stronger, what I'm suggesting is it's stronger to say I want you. I'm choosing you. Is much stronger than if you don't give me what I need, if you don't give me what I need, I can't deal with it. And in fact, when you say that, it hurts me so much. It hurts me so much. Don't say that to me. You can't ask me that question because it hurts me too much. I need you to say it like this. Let me tell you exactly how I need you to say it so I feel better.
You need to say it.
You hear it. I'm playing out the dynamic. I'm not giving you any space because what you just said hurt me so much, I can't breathe. And I can't do it unless you respond differently. Because my feeling is dependent on you. There's a beautiful saying that when I can't manage my emotional world, I try to control other people's actions.
But isn't it natural that your feelings depend on your partner to at least
It's natural to expect in a healthy relationship that there be things like love, that there be things like trust, that there be things, but it's not natural and it's counterintuitive to say this, but it's not natural and it's destructive when I expect them.
When I demand it and expect it, and if I'm not getting that, then that means there's something unideal about our relationship.
Okay, let's go back there.
But I hear your point. I think what you're saying is, I think there can be like a really real place of love where we feel like we need each other. And I'm not saying that once we get into that deep face-to-face that there aren't aspects like that. I think that there's something to that. But we're also going to get to that because the dynamic that we're going to find here and the formula that we're going to find here is that when we give up these expectations and demands and coercions, then we end up getting all of that. I'm already like jumping forward, but the point that we're going to get to, y'all, is that when we give up the expectations and demands, then we end up getting the things that we're wanting.
So there's another myth here that I don't know if you heard in these lyrics. The lover who knows me understands how I feel inside. So myth number 3 goes something like this. It's a little bit long, but you get the idea. If this is the right person for me, then they'll know what I'm feeling. They'll know why I'm feeling it and what I need. Right? We believe, oftentimes, deep down, that if they don't know what I feel, what I need, then something's wrong. Something's wrong with the relationship. Oftentimes, it's wrong with you. That they're insensitive, they don't care. We have this belief that somehow there's a psychic connection, and if you don't understand what I need, how I feel, or what I need you to tell me or do in this moment.
I shouldn't have to ask him for compliments. He should just know to come and give them to me. And then I get all upset when he doesn't. So one myth there is like, no, your partner does not know. There's this thing called communication, and that is the golden key to the thing called love.
Taylor Swift.
Next. Yeah, that's good. Of course it begins, Romeo. We all know how that story ended up, that little love tale. Romeo saved me. I've been feeling so alone. He knelt to the ground and pulled out a ring and said, marry me, Juliet, you'll never have to be alone. Okay, so save me. God forbid I should feel alone. Romeo, come save me. I'm willing to, like Mom has died. You know, better that I should die than be alone without you. So, myth number 4, marriage means never having to be alone. Okay, well, God, what happens then if, God forbid, something happens to your partner? You fall apart? You don't go on? You want to die? You want to commit suicide? that healthy? Kind of weirdly romantic, but only in the back-to-back sense.
That's a DJ. Baby love. You guys know the song? Baby love, right? Listen to these. Baby love, my baby love. I need you, oh, I need you. Fine, you hear it like you're expressing it. But all you do is treat me bad, break my heart, and leave me sad. Tell me, what did I do wrong to make you stay away so long, my baby love? Do you hear this? I mean, you really have to kind of twist your imagination around to call this healthy.
Not totally true. You get really old people,
Yeah.
and one passes away, the other one is used to that person there, and they often die a couple of years afterwards.
That's true.
Not totally true what you're saying.
No, the point I'm making here is you treat me bad, you break my heart and leave me sad, you're my baby. Meaning if someone treats you bad, run. Get out. It's not good. It's not a sign of love. You guys hear this? We've ingested this idea that if it feels so bad, it's got to be so good. And it's just not. It's not healthy. It's not where you bring children into. It's not what sustains people. It's not what creates solidity and long-term health. Okay.
And I gotta say about that point, I think that does happen, and I've always looked at that as kind of being this like, oh, isn't that so kind of tragic and sweet that, yeah, she died a year after he did. And no offense against that, and like, you know, but gosh, I would hope that if, God forbid, my partner passed on, I would still find it in me to live my life and to carry on, you know, and
It doesn't quite often.
it doesn't always happen, and I'm not saying it's bad, and that's at the end of a long journey. But what we're trying to get at here are like, what are your fundamentals for when you're going into a relationship, and what are you hoping and expecting and looking for? That's what we're trying to create here, is what are you stepping into that date with? Expectations that this person should be saving me, expectations that this person's going to make it so that I never feel alone again. So that, because at the end of the day, I don't know about you, but when I was dating and I sat across from a guy who like really expected me to like fulfill like every single like, you know, deep abyss of a hole inside of him, I wanted to run the other direction.
So connected to this is another myth number 5. I can change him or her. Right? We've heard this over and over again, but we still do it. Right now he's just stressed because of work. Right now she's a little overwhelmed because of family situations. But once we get married, we have children, everything will settle down. He'll change. He's a little immature now, she's a little, right? You get the idea. Marry someone because you want more of what you have.
Marry someone knowing that you'd be happy to have that lot even if they don't change. I so often say that with clients. I'm like, okay, I hear that there's like this. Please know that imagine if that's not going to change, and you're going to be okay in 10 years from now. If that momish doesn't change and just gets even worse, possibly. Are you prepared for that? Do not walk in thinking that once we get, I'm going to change him.
My first love. You're every breath that I take. Every step I make.
Totally like the enmeshed Adam, male-female figure. Like, I cannot breathe without you. I cannot step without you.
This does not mean you don't have a passionate, caring, loving relationship. Air supply, right? I can't live if living is without you. Sorry for the
These are
I can't help it.
these romantic versions of love that, of course, we know is so that everybody dreams in their heart that at some level they have a love that they over-encompasses them, that help us get on. Why do we love to listen to these songs? Because it's an imaginary, non-real love that still fills us up with with tremendous open and experience out here. It's not criticize the songs too well. They all sell a million copies, millions of copies. Somebody was like.
Old paradigms, my friend, old paradigms.
I understand.
We are messianic people.
I understand.
Go to the
It's
new
also,
paradigm.
it's also true that advertising works when you use fear.
Right.
Ooh. Okay.
That's what best sells.
Okay, Rihanna.
That and beauty.
Okay, Rihanna's song.
Well,
We
certain
found. I
kinds.
don't know the song. We Found Love. Apparently, she's very popular, Rihanna. No, it's called We Found Love.
Anything, I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, you-
It's
We
like,
found love.
It's like you're screaming and no one can hear.
We found love.
Right, we found love. What kind of love is that? Well, it's like you're screaming and no one can hear. You almost feel ashamed that someone could be that important. That without them you feel like nothing. No one will ever understand how much it hurts. You feel hopeless, like nothing can save you.
Mazel
How's that for a
tov.
Hallmark card?
Mazel tov. You found love.
Oy. And of course, I don't know, apparently Rihanna was in an abusive relationship.
No, that was one of her big things. Is she came out publicly to help people to say, I was in this abusive relationship. That's what Google tells me.
You did the Bee Gees.
Are you shocked?
You did the Bee Gees.
I'm not singing Bee Gees.
Please.
The hard choice.
Yeah, I'm more of a low voice. Okay, how deep is your love? You guys know this? So this one's a little bit more subtle. Let's see if you can hear it. You're the light in my deepest, darkest hour. This is very subtle. You're my savior when I fall. Subtle, right? And you may not think I care for you when you know down inside that I really do. And it's me you need to show how deep is your love. You hear the accent there. It's me you need to show how deep is your love. So now, our partners have to be Mashiach. You're my savior. My deepest, darkest hour. My savior when I fall. You guys hear this?
And if that
This
person's
is goes
not,
on and on and on and on. These are the messages. And I challenge you, because I look at myself, and I can talk to my wife, and they're deeply embedded in us.
and so much of our suffering comes from
Right.
when I'm expecting him to do all this stuff for me, and it don't work. And then I'm all angry at him because he didn't save me. And then I'm resentful, and 10 years down the line, we're in a really nasty setup.
You hear that? It's me you need to show how deep is your love. So I'm going to rename this song, How Deep Is Your Narcissism? So you see, partners are not our need fillers. They are not our happy makers. They are not our distraction. They are not our helpers. They are not our ego boosters, our respect givers, not our therapists, and certainly not our saviors. Now you're going to say, so what the heck is a relationship for? Which is a good question, and that's where we're going. That's where we're going. So we're going to give you the paradigm shift on these pieces in a moment. Okay.
Great. So you all know the story from Michelle Silverstein, The Missing Piece. So we're just going to play with that image. Remember the missing piece? It's this kind of like Pac-Man looking guy. Will you draw Pac-Man? Is there a Pac-Man over there? Will you narrate? Will
You guys know the story?
Oh God, Shel Silverstein, he was this yid who wrote the best stories in the world. And what do you mean? Okay. So the missing piece is the story of a little Pac-Man guy who has this missing piece, and we're going to take the story and kind of take it and run. So it's this little Pac-Man with a missing piece, and he really wants to roll in life, but as he tries to roll, every time he rolls, he kind of like bumps up against his
I have a video that you
his
can see
missing
online
piece.
about this.
And he can't really roll. He kind of like plunks instead of rolls. And he's very frustrated with this, of course. And so he goes off and he looks and he searches and he looks and he searches for his missing piece. A piece that's going to fit him perfectly, that's going to fill all of his emptiness. And sure enough, he looks and he finds a piece that's a little small, or a piece that's a little big, too big, a piece that maybe is like a little too funky, or you know,
You guys
like
have
all
ever
these.
tried fitting a funky piece?
Have you ever
in?
had dates like this? Wait, No, that just doesn't fit, right? And he tries, and sure enough, by the grace of God, he finds one day a piece that fits perfectly. Boole finds his missing piece. And sure enough, he's able to roll now. He's able to roll, and he's able to roll. He's able to roll until, time passes and things change a little bit. That little piece, starts to get a little bit bigger, starts to get a little bigger. It's just feeling like a little tense, a little stressful because it's just tight all the time. And things are not just flowing anymore between us, and it's kind of just uncomfortable. And it finally just pops the heck out. Pops out because it's too big, and it was never meant to fill him up in the first place. And he's left suicidal.
I know that this is a huge overgeneralization, but sometimes we call this divorce.
Sometimes we call it one person growing out of where they were when they got together. Divorce. Finding that this person that was supposed to fit in me perfectly is not just my missing piece, or maybe they're their own self, actually, their own piece. And he's devastated, and he doesn't know what to do with himself, and he treads through the desert in despair, and on, until one day he's sitting there in his misery, when he sees a really fast circle rolling by him, and just zoom, and he can hardly even see it. He's like, holy cow, what was that? I've never seen such a thing in my life. Where was its clunk and plunk? And that was perfect illustration. Thank you, Hillel. And it's this zooming piece, and he finally stops this looks like a circle, and says, oh my gosh, how do you do that? Don't you have a missing piece that you keep plunking on? And the circle's I kind of have this missing piece, but I just roll through it. I just keep on rolling. And my missing piece doesn't really bother me so much. I mean, it's there, but it doesn't define me. It doesn't stop me. Because you know what? I have these awesome hills that I love to climb and roll down. And every time I climb a hill, it's this awesome challenge. I climb up it, and then I just zoom down it, and I get this momentum, and I start rolling, and I don't even notice my missing piece because I'm just so in the midst of this incredible ecstatic roll that I just roll through it. Wow, really? I would like to find a hill that I could do that on. And so our Pac-Man friend goes and he finds himself his own challenge, his own hill, and he starts to kind of laboriously work up it, and he sweats and he works on himself, and he works and he grows, and he goes to the top and he flies down, and he doesn't just clunk anymore. He's starting to really move, and he's starting to really get the swing of things. He's starting to roll, even though he doesn't have that piece of some other person's piece sticking inside of him. He's rolling on his own. He's rolling on his own. And sure enough, what happens after a couple of days, a couple of months, a couple of years of just being his own, mountain climbing, free rolling self, is that he finds plomit.
Wait, you missed the...
That he fills out his own circle.
There we go.
He fills out his own circle. And then he meets, of course, this other lovely circular friend, rolling along during her thing, and he says, wow, would you like to roll together? Would you like to roll together? Not, will you come and fill up my emptiness, please, and save me from my own plunking? No! Would you like to roll together? I see these incredible hills. Let's just traverse those together and roll. Okay? So you get the metaphor, my friends. The point is not that the other person is going to fill up my holes and my lacks and my needs. No, I'm going to be my highest self and my fullest self and my passion self, and then I'm going to meet another impassioned person, and they're going to be, and I'm going to be my healthiest self, and they're going to be their healthiest self, and together we're just going to roll. That's our goal. The roll goal.
Hey, how come you spoke like bagels? I'm not sure.
Because you're hungry.
So we're going to go back to those statements that we made. He should, she will, he will, right? And we're going to turn them around. We're basically going to now take full responsibility for all of those statements. Because it wasn't just a trick to tell you that that was now a myth. But these become incredible pointers for ourselves. They become incredible pointers into what we project onto our partners, future partners. And now what we're going to do is turn those around and take full responsibility of those. And there's a way to do this. I want to work with you. So what I want to ask is, there somebody from our fine audience who is willing to come up and do a little demonstration with us?
I'll come.
All right, great.
Give him a hand, give him a hand, give him a hand. All right. Thank you.
Okay. Can you? Okay.
You to love.
Okay. How's it? Do you remember your statements?
Yes, I
Would you mind sharing a few of them?
do. Sure, it's easy enough to. Yeah, I got them right here. Based on what I heard you say, I actually changed all my forward shoulds, and then I changed them all to
No, no. Don't go catching the fish before we bait the hook.
okay?
Can you guys speak up a little bit?
Okay.
She will accept me, love will grow, we will laugh, we will want to grow old together.
So, she will accept me. Yeah. Mind if we just start with that one? Great. So what I'm going to ask you to do, just for a minute, in your mind, inside, imagine yourself, well, actually, before we get there. So take your statement now, and instead of she will accept me, change it to I will accept me.
I will accept me, but I already do that.
I will accept me.
I will.
Okay. So imagine yourself fully in acceptance mode.
I'm already there.
You're already there. An easy move.
When you get to be 50, things are a lot easier.
Your circle's more filled out.
More.
That's great. That's good.
That's right. Circles all the time. But
So it sounds like
very
you're-
fortunate because I had both, was married twice. I had first babies back to back, and then I had a side by side. So I had both relationships. I had a full life.
So you're ready for this. Okay. So being in the place that you're in will be helpful. So I'm going to take you through the paces, even though it sounds like you're already in that place. So stay with me for a minute. Because everybody, you can do this with so pick one of yours that you feel is the strongest one, and work this through with us, by yourself. Okay. So I should.
I will accept me.
I should accept me. Okay. Because I'm really the only one who can.
I'm really the only person that can accept myself.
It's not her job to accept me.
It's no one else's job to accept me.
Take responsibility for myself.
I take full responsibility for myself.
And I release her from the responsibility of accepting me.
And I release her from the responsibility of accepting me.
So imagine, sounds like you don't have to imagine, fully being in that acceptance mode. Maybe you need to imagine not being in it. You're now sitting at a dinner table with a date. You're fully in that mode of acceptance. Are you more or likely to come off as attractive to the person sitting across from you?
Of course, most people don't want somebody who's needy. They want somebody that they have fun with.
Are you more confident or less confident?
Of what?
Yourself.
I'm more confident.
Are you more or less likely to make good decisions about a potential partner from this place?
It's definitely easier to make the decision. You got to have God help you, send you the person anyway. No matter how much you accept, you've got to help.
100% agree. So here's the thing. This is the point that I want people to listen to, because this is tricky but crucial. This is really the shift. when you are in this place of acceptance, is that partner, that potential partner, more or less likely to accept you?
Of course, you'll accept me better if you don't have any less, have less needs.
So you're more likely to get the acceptance when you take the responsibility on it of the acceptance yourself.
And of course, usually you have to help the other more than you need for yourself because you're there and they usually need something from you. That's why they want to get together.
Great. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
I want you guys to hear this model. So whatever. Someone is across from you as a date, and they say to you, they give you the energy, they give you the presentation of, I need you. It's your responsibility to make me feel loved. It's your responsibility to fill the hole that I have. It's your responsibility to make sure that I don't feel alone. It's your responsibility to give me respect. Do you feel like coming closer to me or like pushing away? Right? Now, inversely, if I say to this person, I want to share something about who I am, along with all of the other things we're sharing about who we are. I'm alone. I feel alone a lot of the time. Do you ever feel like that? That's sharing. It's still touching on the same place. It's the vulnerability that we spoke about. You know, I go through periods of real sadness. The place is sometimes really a sad place. Whatever. This is my struggle. This is my hole. And I'm offering it up to you because it's actually a part of who I am. There's other parts too. We're not talking about those other parts right now. But you're here. When I'm sharing them, then you all of a sudden, this is certainly my experience. I hope it's your experience. You trust me more. Like, oh, that's who he is. These are the dark places. I don't have to wonder and worry about what they are. I don't have to hide. He's not saying I'm responsible. She's not saying I'm responsible for them. Sharing them. Sharing one human to another. And in those places of sharing is where trust sprouts from, is where love sprouts from, is where intimacy sprouts from, in those places of sharing. Also in sharing the houses and the excitements and the dreams and all of the things that we share about.
Can I ask where your source of that is? Because if I shared any of my vulnerabilities or inadequacies or failures on any internet dating website, I guarantee I will not be the most. I'm happy to.
Right.
to
I'm not.
say,
I'm not
where
saying
is
your
that?
profile should be. I'm broken.
Where do you
Write
get
me
this from
here.
In the Torah, is it in the Torah it said this? I mean.
But here's what I will guarantee you: is that if you are a more whole, a more honest person, a more representative person of who you really are, you will be more likely to find the appropriate person for you. You will be finding a person that is a higher and healthier quality level.
Being whole, I totally agree with you. But sharing.
I'm not talking about throwing your seicha at the door. I'm not saying like putting all of your negatives up front. What I'm talking is about being a whole person.
But people don't generally take other people's vulnerability. I mean, it seems to me.
If they don't, run for the hills.
Okay.
If you're not sitting with someone who can hold you for who you are, it's going to be a disaster. Save yourself the 5 years of hell.
I feel really sad when I hear you say that, and I believe you that that's the culture out there on online dating or dating in general, and that's tragic. And so that's also part of what we're trying to work at, shifting and creating a real cultural shift and being vulnerable. But the vulnerability can be there and can be held and accepted and received. It's so much better if there's not that sense of demand on the other person to be the filler of the vulnerability. So that's the key place we're looking for, is letting those demands and expectations and coercions that we have inside of us just melt away to know that we ourselves are the source of our own strength and care. And yes, we have vulnerabilities as well, but we have responsibilities. We have responsibilities to ourselves that we're able to meet for ourselves. And so we're not going to be needing the other person to meet it. I'm just going to end with the...
Could I just say one last thing before you do that?
Yeah.
A piece that I wanted to make sure was underlined here is that these shoulds, and the deeper we get with them, the more real we are able to uncover them, they become pointers towards our missing piece. And that's the piece that we can then start taking responsibility for and filling out. And the more we fill that out, the higher quality person we're going to attract into our lives. The more quality person we're going to be attracted to. The clearer we're going to be. This is why I asked that question. Are you more or less likely to make good decisions from this place? The clearer you will be about making decisions. Yes, this is the right person, or no, this is not. I'm also in a minute going to give you a very simple kind of hit list for should I marry this person. We're going to hold on to that for a second.
So just in ending, I think there's these pieces of holding our vulnerability, taking responsibility for ourselves. And then the third piece, which I think is really crucial here, but we don't have time to unpack it all the way, but it's certainly the work that we do with clients and offer teachings like this is about, like, what is your hill? What is the hill that is yours to climb and yours to... So there's the the holding our emptinesses and working on those, and which is crucial work. Then there's also the place of, like, and what is your passion that you're chasing after? The vengeance. So it's not just chasing after a marriage, but it's chasing after your like highest vision of your life. And I'm chasing after this, and yeah, I'm on partnership to do that. But what is your hill that you're climbing and flying down? And how are you living into your passion? And that's also going to create such a wonderful sense of attraction from the people that you're meeting, is if you're living your life, if you're not just waiting for the person who's going to be your partner in order to get your life started, but how are you holding your life in your own hands and running with it and creating that yourself. And it's just, that's the place to meet somebody from. That's the place to meet somebody from. So both of these pieces are really precious. Holding the empty pieces and filling them out for ourselves, and then like finding our hills and flying down them.
I also just want to point out, our job and our hope is not to get singles married. That's not our goal here, is to get someone married. Our goal is to prepare someone for healthy marriage.
Healthy, long-term.
And as you pointed out, the rest is Minashamayim. But to be prepared, to be ready, to do the work that you can do to attract and be attracted to higher quality people, to be clear about the decisions you make, to be more whole in the way that you go into that process.
God helps those that helps themselves.
Right. So guys, here's your list. I keep renaming it. It's called the Overly Simplified but Definitive Guide to Should I Marry Them? The Overly Simplified but Definitive Guide to Should I Marry Them? You ready? Number 1. Is he or she a mensch? Somebody mentioned good people, right? What is a mensch? Good person integrity, of honor, notable character. Don't marry someone who's not a mensch. Good.
No matter how much money they have, no matter how good looking they are, no matter how good looking and how much money they have together, if they're not mensch, run.
But don't you have to be a mensch first before you can make that
Yes.
requirement?
True.
If I'm not a mensch, I don't even fit that thing. Well, why would they want to be with me?
Sometimes I meet mensches who marry not mensches,
Yeah.
and it's sad.
Like, should a not mensch not get married, or like,
Should a not mensch not? So you take a not mensch and a not mensch and
I mean,
shove them
not
together?
mensch, I don't
A not
know.
mensch
Is it better than nothing, or is it not nothing?
My private practice is booming from those people.
Yeah.
And not mensches
Keep me in
go to
business.
therapy.
Yeah.
So, okay, number 2. Listen to this. Is this the person you want to have problems with? Not, will I have problems? Won't I have problems?
I don't want to have problems.
Is this the person you want to have problems with? a shift, and it's an important shift.
Problems will happen, and problems will be part of that hill that you climb together.
Number 3, how do you work through problems? When you pass the honeymoon stage, and there's disagreements, differences, opinions, opposing desires, how do you do it? When you both feel, listen to this, when you both feel defensive, hurt, or angry, how do you work it out? Now I'm hearing from the religious court in the back of my mind, wait a second, they got married after a month. They didn't get a chance to get through the honeymoon stage. So my recommendation is, get through the honeymoon stage.
Before you get married.
We're not in a simple life anymore. We're not simple people, especially for Balei Tshuva. People who've got histories and pasts and expectations and experiences. You need to get through this phase.
So you recommend dating longer than a month?
Yes. My old Rosh Yeshiva, Nathan Greenberg from Batayan, he wouldn't perform weddings unless they dated for 6 months. And people sometimes were furious with that.
Before getting engaged?
Good question, I don't know.
Um,
Okay, number 4. Can you cultivate intimacy together? I'm going to explain what I mean by intimacy here. This, to me, is the key of whether a face-to-face relationship is possible in a relationship. And you can notice this first, second, third date, no problem. We're not talking about an incredible level of intensity, but what you can ask yourself is there a draw? Is there a draw to one another? A feeling of closeness. This is different than attraction. You hear this? This is not sexual attraction. This is a draw, a soul draw to one another.
How to give really well, because that was the only way that they could be and get any kind of form of love, to simplify it. And so they will often find themselves in a relationship with somebody who, that's the dynamic again, where they're giving and the other person is receiving. And listen, this happens. Like, we oftentimes will choose people based on, these places from our own childhood that are complex. And so that can help happen. But I mean, my hope is that before you kind of make the decision to go into that kind of relationship, having consciousness around it. Okay, where is my desire to give coming from? Is it coming from a worked out place in me? And so I've seen people who have done work on themselves, and they're still, the child of a narcissist, they're still going to be a giver, and wow, it makes, great, you're a mensch, there's good pieces of that, clearly, but the thing to look out for, I think, is it coming from a worked out place? Is it a place where you're holding with consciousness? So a lot of this work of being whole, I think, is about being really conscious of, what are my tendencies because of my own childhood and because of my own woundings, etc. And so having consciousness around that will enable better circumstances to come.
My experience with therapists is it's great when the person gets fixed, and the purpose of the relationship is over as well.
So right. God knows
Yeah,
that we've seen people grow. It's kind of that was the image of the piece that suddenly starts growing and doesn't fit anymore. Like somebody becomes more healthy, and then they're like, wait, I can't be in this relationship because I'm. So we want to, if there's any way to like catch that before you get married and have 3 kids, great.
There oftentimes, by the way, is a middle ground where there's a destabilization in a relationship because of that growth that oftentimes draws the other person into doing their work, or forces sometimes the other person into doing their work.
Yeah.
And then there's a way of somebody choosing that person instead of...
They sometimes have to reconnect again after the reason they got together is fixed.
That's right. That's right. But there's still a piece of work that has to happen. Like a real conscious marriage needs to be born. Yeah.
You can't honor and respect someone you're helping.
What?
You said if you're helping someone, honor and respect. If you're helping someone, it's not honor and respect. You gave
I
me
didn't
this,
say
and
that.
you said you were talking about honor and respect, right?
I was speaking
Do
about.
you respect and honor them? You had said something like, if it's a person that you're all the time feeling like, oh, I'm here to help them, or we're on a different level in some way, then it might not be good.
No, what I meant is if your attitude, thanks, let me clarify.
That's a good.
What I meant by that is that if your attitude towards a potential partner is, this person is less than me, on some level,
Okay.
or this person's like so amazing, so beyond me. That, there's subtleties. It could be like this person's amazing, and that could be very positive. But just be cautious of big shifts. Is this person respecting you? Is this person honoring you? It could be that your value system is around money, and money creates your sense of success, and I'm sorry, the mosquito wanting to get you. And so I'm just using this as an example. And so that you have someone who's much more financially successful, or the breadwinner in the family. And that going in, there's such a mismatch in the way that, it doesn't matter if there's a mismatch in the financial piece. If there's a mismatch in the way that people trust or honor or respect the other, then it's just something to pay attention to. It's something to be aware of. Yeah?
But you are respecting someone because they're bringing home a salary or whatever. But if he didn't bring home a salary, right, at all, you wouldn't respect him.
You wouldn't respect him. There's plenty of people who respect people who don't bring home salaries.
No, I'm saying that they chose a relationship where someone doesn't, already will, or something like that, right? But they chose, and he studied all day, I'll bring home a salary, right? I'm not talking about, I'm talking about someone for some reason, right, he didn't choose that to begin with. Yeah?
So ask yourself the question, do I respect them? Do I honor them? Do they respect me? Do they honor me? That's all I'm asking you to ask. Just ask yourself those questions, and if the answer is no, pay attention to that. The circumstances are going to be different for different people. What creates respect and trust?
If you're a person who is going to have a really hard time if your partner doesn't bring in money, and you're going to have a hard time respecting them, well, don't expect that to just change once you decide to get married. So know what you honor and respect, and listen to that too. Don't just stress to decide. So, yeah.
There's some of the whole, why would you want to go into a marriage with causing problems?
If someone has a hole,
If someone,
Is the whole person is healthy,
then why would you want to go into a marriage? What?
it can cause you problems.
Because life is messy and intimacy is messy, and because we want to share. Because we want to share. And two holes is bigger than. And by the way, I just want to say, there is no such thing as a whole person. First of all, we're using models and framework. We're talking about whether we're engaged in the process of self-development, whether we're more aware of the pieces that are missing, and whether we're doing something about it, or whether we're orienting ourselves from those directions. There's no such thing as whole. So, I just want to say that about our model also. Like we have this model, and there's holes in the model, but it's a good, solid model that can be extremely helpful in orienting yourself towards healthy relationships. I want to give you all a bracha that the process of partnering is a joyful one. The partnering process for you is hopeful, and that it's indicators towards your own growth, and that growth drives you on a personal path of self-development, of well-being, enjoying life, serving Hashem, and that in the right time, and God willing, it should be as soon as you would like it, that you find the appropriate person to share these hills with and this journey with.
Amen.
Sort of a question. I don't know exactly how to phrase it, but this sounds to me like this is the lichatchila plan. Now sometimes things don't exactly go like a person. It's not good for a person to be alone. People are naturally social animals. I don't know. They need relationships, but it's better to be with someone usually than without someone. But what do you do in the meantime? Like when just you're not finding the right person, you don't find the person that meets all these criteria, or you don't. Like, when do you say, okay, maybe I have to be a little bit flexible with some of these things on my list, a little bit of realism. You can't like everyone look for the Prince Charming and then be 95 years old and so maybe I should.
I think that's an individual question, like per person, per situation. I hear it, and.
Or also, like, what about a person who really can't find something perfect? Should they go for imperfect and then know that it's probably not going to be so great, or is it?
Well, we always go for imperfect. We always go for imperfect. I mean, that's lichatchila. That's why I'm sharing you. Is this a person you want to have problems with?
What if you
And
already have
building it into
problems?
the
Like, you
lichatchila.
already have problems. Like, well, what if I'm not gonna find anyone better? Like, what if it's obviously an amuna thing, but sometimes you just have to like, if you're in, I don't like to use these analogies, but like someone needs a car now.
So do this
Like,
kind.
you don't
Do
always
this
have the
kind of.
chance to.
Do this kind of work.
Yeah.
Find people you respect around you that can give you outside perspective. Daven about it. There's no shortcut answer to that.
So what's the next step for people that want to keep growing and working? Do you offer workshops, additional classes, or?
So we have a couple of workshops, which that would be the next step. We do.
Most of our engaged couples.
That's true. That's true. So we really recommend actually for couples that are dating and with engagement in mind or already engaged to do the workshop also, as like get that work done before you get married. Start getting the work done before you get married. Start being aware of the deeper issues before you get married. I do a women's group that is definitely about like empowerment and that image of going up the hill and finding your hill, and so I do workshops around that, and Hillel does men's groups, and then we do private counseling. That's what we have right now. So please God, we're working towards creating more of a workshop for singles, and this is one step in that direction. So thank you so much for creating this. Pushed us to like be like, okay, let's start to lay that workshop down. So this is the beginning pieces of it. Thank you, Dina. Wonderful.
I just want to thank you all for coming out, and also the Lesters, of course, on a very nice evening. If anybody can do anything else, but they came here because they want to work on themselves and work on, hopefully, future relationship. And I'll tell you the truth, the work never stops, but you can actually enjoy it, and that's going to be the real key. When you see fruits from the labor, it's just delicious. And hopefully everyone here will be blessed with seeing the fruits of their labor in every area of their life. I just want to remind you, we gave out pens and pencils. You can just drop them off at the desk in the front. That would be great. And please open your emails. We send out beautiful emails. If you just signed up, I promise you, you will be getting them. Please open them to find out the different projects and events that we're having.
And if you're interested, there's business cards on for Chaya and myself out on the table, and a sign-up sheet if you didn't sign it up for the Shalev Center mailing list for events. So, thank you guys.
Thank you.
Also, Hillel does a Monday night meditation every Monday night. It's open to everybody.
Hey. Oh my gosh, thank you so much. Wonderful, wonderful. I read a lot of books, a lot of work. That was great.
Thank you. Thanks for your questions.
So